The Minnesota Vikings could be losing a high-level personnel executive to the Detroit Lions. Rap Sheet reported that the Lions will interview a Vikings assistant to the regional general manager, George Paton, for their general manager open. Now, it's a unique situation since former Lions linebacker and Fox broadcaster Chris Spielman is spearheading the GM and head coach search in Detroit. And of course, he's the brother of Vikings GM Rick Spielman. It's a fun dynamic. And then Paton has been a Rick lieutenant for the last 2 decades. Also, all 3 were in Detroit yesterday, so I'm sure those conversations went well. Hey, why are you trying to steal my guy? Shut up, Rick, or I'll give you a noogie. But yeah. So the question is, who is George Paton? Well, he just finished his 13th season with the Vikings, all of them with Rick Spielman. Came here with Rick when he got the job in 2006. Now, he was with Rick in Miami as well, going back to Chicago into the late 90s as well. Spielman was the Bears director of pro personnel before getting the Dolphins job. And then Rick got fired when Saban came in. Just fun. Football history is fun. Anyway, and it's hard to parse out credit when it comes to what does Paton deserve credit for, what does he deserve blame for in terms of personnel decisions, trades, draft picks, etc. Because I mean, GM, assistant GM, whatever, the buck does stop with Spielman, but it would be interesting to know like where they disagreed, where they agreed, etc. I do know that Paton was a pretty big proponent of Danielle Hunter in the 3rd round in 2015, but of course, and has been very highly regarded in personnel circles for years. In fact, his name consistently comes up every single season this time of year when there are GM openings. And he nearly became the Browns GM after they hired Kevin Stefanski last year, and then he decided to turn it down. Wasn't going to have full personnel control. Eventually, that job went to Andrew Berry. Also, he was in the Packers conversation before they hired Gutekunst, which would be unfortunate, but. And then also he was back in with the Dolphins, his old team, before they hired Chris Greer, the Niners before they hired Lynch, Colts before they hired Ballard, Chiefs before they hired Brett Veach, as well as Jets before they hired Mike Maccagnan, and then fired Mike Maccagnan for White Suge Knight, Joe Douglas. But so he's been around the block before, has generated a lot of interest. He's even turned down interviews before because I think that he knows that he has a good thing going here with the Vikings. He is in his late 40s, and he's got kids, got family, all that stuff. Don't necessarily want to move them around, but if the right job comes up, and I think he is waiting for the right spot. I think he knows that he has the bona fides and the resume to be able to write his own ticket and don't take a job just to take a job, right? So he can wait for a team that has good ownership, or at least ownership that doesn't meddle, full control of the roster, as well as being able to hire his own head coach, as well as some promising talent on said roster. Now, the Lions probably do have all those things, minus the promising roster. They do inherit. He would inherit some issues there with Stafford's contract, as well as a bunch of free agents, Babytron and Marvin Jones probably leaving. So, the leftovers of the Patriots West. So cool. And then Albert Breer wrote in the Monday Morning Quarterback a few weeks ago that Northwestern head coach Pat Fitzgerald and George Paton could be a package deal since they share an agent and apparently go way back like chiropractic. Now, Fitzgerald reportedly is firmly on the Lions' radar. And of course, Rick Spielman, tough-nosed linebacker, picks a tough-nosed former Big Ten linebacker to be his new head coach. That's very on brand. And also, I respect what Fitzgerald has done at Northwestern. It's extremely hard to win at academically inclined schools. You look at Vanderbilt, you look at Stanford, you look at Northwestern. It's tough to recruit. It's tough to consistently win, especially when you're stuck in a conference with a ton of other powerhouses. So respect what he's done at his alma mater. And frankly, I think that his style and his leadership would translate to the NFL probably more than, say, Dan Mullen. I have my worries. PJ Fleck, I don't know. I think Fleck works best in college, even though he's getting some NFL sniffs, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Fitzgerald, unfortunately, would be a home run hire for the Lions. And also, George Paton, I think, deserves a lot of credit for being an astute personnel man. So that would suck. All the other teams in NFC North, it would suck. But I think this finally might be the year that Spielman loses Paton to the other Spielman, which is kind of funny. Or hell, leave us George Paton and take Rick. Chris, take Rick, and then give us your finest second-round picks this year. So, I don't know. But your thoughts. Lions interviewing Vikings assistant to the regional general manager, George Paton. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support that work, post on the Venmo. But until next time, Skol, production value.